Alright guys, how you doing? Chicken Alfredo, my daughter's favorite meal. Finally, she's gonna see how I make it. Looks like a lot of stuff, don't sweat it. We're gonna go through it one at a time, obviously. Okay, chicken Alfredo, what do we gotta do? We gotta cook the chicken. Now I'm gonna use extra virgin olive oil here. It looks like I'm using a lot, but that's actually part of the deal because I want that extra oil with the chicken juice and the seasoning in the Alfredo. So yeah, it's a lot, but we're gonna cook these gently over a very low heat and season them up. I wear a glove because raw chicken is absolutely disgusting, man. That's some gross stuff. Sea salt, obviously you salt every layer. I'm going to use a little black pepper. I didn't bother grinding black pepper. I was too lazy. There's a lot of stuff in this dish, man. I didn't feel like doing it. So we use that black pepper. And I'm going to use some garlic powder, not garlic salt. I just put salt on the chicken. I don't need garlic salt. So use garlic powder. Don't buy garlic salt or onion salt or any of that crap. Anyway, go and cover it over. Let's see, I covered it up. I'm going to have to guess on the times because I didn't really keep track, but until it looks like that. I don't know, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. I don't know. We're gonna check to make sure it's done before we put it in the dish anyway. But all right, cover back up, cook the other side, blah blah blah. Smooshing around a little bit there to make sure it's not sticking. That's a non-stick pan, no Teflon or any of that. That's Green Life, I think it is. But there you go. Chicken's done. It's just done. You know, keep in mind, I'm going to put the cover on this and take it off the stove. I'm going to take it off the heat, but I'm going to leave it in the pan with the cover on it. So it's going to continue cooking a little bit, and it's going to finish cooking in the sauce too. All right, the Alfredo sauce. I know, I'm using jars. I'm going to use 2 jars of sauce. You know, it's just a base. If you want to make, you're a purist, and you want to make your base from scratch with a heavy cream and yada yada yada, knock yourself out. I don't blame you. I'm not, because you're going to see that I'm putting so much stuff in this that I don't care that I'm using jar sauce. So, I could have bought a cheaper sauce than that, and I don't care. All right, this is a half a stick of butter. I'm going to throw it in the sauce, let it heat up a little bit. There it is. And we're going to throw in a half a cup of chicken. I'm using chicken broth. You could use chicken stock. Who cares? Chicken something, because it's chicken Alfredo. If you're just making Alfredo without chicken, don't put that in. Or use a vegetable stock is what I would do, because a lot of times I make this without chicken. All right, stir that up. Now let's put in all that stuff. Here we go. Half a cup of milk. Why am I doing this? I want to. I like the milk in there with the butter. It makes it creamier. And I'm using it, like I said, I'm using a jar sauce. That's nothing. You don't want to just use that. So we get the butter, milk. I'm using Parmigiano Reggiano here. No, I'm not. I'm using Parmesan Romano cheese here. If you just have Parmesan, do that. You have a different sprinkle of cheese, as they say. But I'm going to stir that in. I would just use Parmesan, really. That's just happened to be what I had in the house. Half a cup of that stuff. Stir it up, incorporate it in as best you can. It's a little clumpy, but it won't stay that way. Don't worry about it. I'm going to use a little bit of garlic because I like garlic. Just a little bit. I'm going to call that a heaping tablespoon. You might want to call it 2 tablespoons. I don't know. I like garlic in this dish. How many cloves is that? Man, I'd have to, I don't know, somewhere between 3 and 6, depending on the size of your garlic. But I'm not chopping all that up, so I just took it out of a jar. And let's throw some seasoning in here. So I'm going to call this, I'm not good at measuring. I don't know, what do you want to call that? A teaspoon and a half of black pepper. We'll throw that in there. Crushed red pepper, because my wife insists on that in every single dish. I'm going to call that a teaspoon, maybe half a teaspoon. Parsley. You're not going to get any flavor out of the parsley. You're going to get pretty out of the parsley. I'm going to call that about a tablespoon. That's my measuring technique, man. That's what I do. I mean, if you want me to go through every little scoop thing, who does that? Who does that? So we're going to stir that up, and look at that. It's beautiful. Look how pretty that's looking. We're nowhere near done with this, but look how pretty that's looking. 1 cup of mozzarella. Or mozzarella. Whatever you want to call it. I call it mozzarella. We're going to stir that in. That's going to make this a gooey, delicious paradise of a sauce. You're going to love this. Now it looks like, I know because I did a fade in and out on the video, and it looks like I put the spoon down and picked it right back up. That's not true. That was sitting there. I let it get warm. It's under a low heat. Look at that. Oh man. That's under a low heat, and I let it sit there a couple of minutes just to let it start getting warm. And I just kept stirring it, and look at that. Oh man. You're gonna love this sauce, I'm telling you. It's worth it. It looks like a lot of stuff. It's not that much stuff. And we're gonna let that just get warm. And what else did I put in there? 1/3 of a cup of white wine. I know, not traditional Alfredo stuff. I like the white wine. I think it adds a good depth of flavor. There's absolutely no other reason to be putting wine in this dish unless you want to get a nice depth of flavor and get that aftertaste. And there would be no other reason to add wine to this dish that I can think of at all. Anyway, now the chicken's done. This chicken's about room temperature. It's been sitting there since I've been doing all that sauce stuff. And we're going to cut it up into bite-sized pieces, and that's good enough. It has to be good enough. That's on video. And there's that sauce. Remember I said I used a lot of oil, and now that's mixed in with the juices from cooking the chicken, and that's an ingredient. So I know it looked like a lot of oil to cook chicken, but that's not just what I was doing. So we're going to put this into the sauce. Look at that sauce. Oh, mama. Yeah, that's good stuff. And you can see that the mozzarella, that melted down pretty good, where it's not all stringy and gooey now. And we put so much other stuff in there that I'm going to say the wine did it. But we'll add the chicken with that juice and the oil, and that's part of the gig. Now, like I said before, if you were making this without chicken, don't do this. You added vegetable stock earlier, and you didn't do this part, and you just have an Alfredo sauce. But we added chicken. It's chicken Alfredo. That's what we're doing here. Alright, now we gotta cook the pasta. I use a water filtration system. It takes out chlorine, fluoride, lead, all that stuff. You can see it fills kind of slow. I use time-lapse photography here because this is 7 days later. That's how long it took to fill this pan. 7 days. We'll throw it on the stove, get it to a full boil. This is just pasta 101. I'm going to salt the water. I'm using kosher salt or sea salt or coarse salt. It's salt, man, and a pound of pasta. The pasta says for al dente, which is what I like, 10 minutes. I probably cook this for about 8 minutes, 8 or 9 minutes, because it's going to finish cooking in the sauce. So we're going to drain the pasta. Now, we're not going to drain it a lot. Matter of fact, watch this little move I make right here. See that? Did you see that? That's because that's a starchy, salty water. And that's going to help with the sauce. It's got flavor to it also. And I want some of it. So I'm not draining the pasta well at all. If anything, I'm throwing some of that water in the sauce. And look at that. There's a slotted spoon, so you're not seeing all the sauce itself, but there's some pasta and nice big chunks of chicken in there too, which is pretty awesome. Cover that up and you are done. I mean, you're going to let this cook maybe a minute or two. The chicken's in there cooking. And there you go. I served this with garlic bread and a salad. And I'm going to do a separate video on that garlic bread because there's so much stuff on that garlic bread too. It's ridiculous. I don't do anything the easy way. Look at that. Mud on. That's heaven in a dish right there. Hey, listen. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe, like, share. Thanks, guys.